Hello everyone, welcome to our Timeless Oracle reading. Our oracle card for today belongs to the Whispers of the Ocean Oracle by Angela Hartfield. The card for today is entitled Shedding the Old. Aside from change, one thing that is permanent in life is growth. We continually grow and outgrow things. Even when people think that nothing is happening, and some people will say, you are growing backwards. Okay, it's still growth. Even if you feel like nothing is happening in a person's life, there are a lot of things happening inside them, changing, and we are outgrowing things. Some people, they don't want to change, but still something happens inside them. In one way or another, something changes. Even if they don't change their attitude in life, they seem to remain childish. Their body is changing. They're growing white hairs. The skin is no longer as supple as it was before. We grow. We continually grow. We continually change. And we need to shed certain things as we grow. For example, a hermit crab, after a certain period of time, needs to go out of the shell that it has been living on and look for a bigger shell because they have already outgrown the shell that they have been living in. If they don't move to a bigger shell, the effect will be detrimental for them. A snake, every once in a while, because it has a thick outer skin, an exoskeleton, even a lobster, which has a thick outer skin, after a certain period of time when they have grown much already, sufficient enough, they have to shed the old exoskeleton in order to create another exoskeleton that is bigger. The snake undergo that process also, the skin. For them, if they already outgrew that skin, they have to remove that skin in order for a new, bigger skin would grow. It's the same also in our life. Sometimes we are in a relationship that is up to a certain level of maturity, but then you start to grow. And sometimes you feel yourself in a situation or a relationship that you already feel stifled in. Maybe it's time for you, when you start to feel stifled already in a situation or a relationship, maybe you need to take a pause and try to see. Maybe you've outgrown already the situation or the relationship. Maybe it's time for the relationship or the situation to undergo some transformation so that it will accommodate to the growth that you have undergone. So sometimes the relationship needs to grow into something that is more mature because both parties who are involved have changed already up to a certain point. They have terms like growing apart. Okay, this happens when both people have different directions they are heading to, and after a certain period of time they realize we're already in different areas. We are physically together, but we are already somehow apart. Or sometimes one continues on growing and the other remains the same until there came to a point when they couldn't meet already, their point of views couldn't meet together already, and they grow apart. Then there's a need to sit down and try to see if they are willing to solve the relationship or to salvage the relationship. They will have to make some modifications in order to make the relationship adapt to the growth that has undergone in their life. If one of the parties or both of the parties do not want to continue anymore, then sometimes they decide to really stop the relationship. Sometimes it happens also. But it doesn't have to be like that always. They can always sit down and allow the relationship to grow also so that it can accommodate both parties or the people involved, so that they are able to continue on journeying together. Change is part of it, and sometimes we need to shed certain things. For example, certain practices which were applicable in our life before might no longer be applicable to us. So somehow this card of shedding the old reminds us the need to every once in a while take a pause and try to see which parts in our life that needs to be changed, which part of our lives that we need to shed off, we need to let go. For example, it can be a favorite clothing that used to be very comfortable for you, but now it's already too small that when you take it on, you hardly could breathe. And then you realize it's time for you to not use it anymore. You can pass it on to somebody who appreciates it and will enjoy it more, or you can put it into your memorabilia if it continues to have memories that you cherish, or you can completely let it go. So this card invites us to take a pause and try to see, are there parts in our life that we have already outgrown and we need to shed off? Shedding them off allows us to move forward and to grow even more. A few days ago, I worked on the garden and worked on some plants, and some of the plants had some dried parts in them that is somehow burdening the plant. There are a lot of dried parts in them, sort of like those parts of them that have died during the winter time. And now that springtime is coming, it was a time for them to shed off those dried parts in them. So I trimmed off the dead parts, and 3 days after, new life came. The plants looked healthier, and new shoots are coming out in that area where I cut off those dried parts, and the plant looked healthier, and it exudes youth, and it was a pleasing sight. So sometimes it's like that for us also. When we declutter those things that are no longer healthy in our life, no longer helping us, those things that become burden to us already, when we let them go, we shed them. With gratitude, we let them go. Life becomes more open to new things. It's like after the rain, and everything that is no longer useful is washed off, new life begins. You start to hear the birds, you start to see the rainbow, you start to see new life coming forth from the ground. So shedding off is part of life, and somehow this card reminds us maybe it's time for us to re-examine our life and try to see which parts in our life we need to shed off so that new things will start to grow. Now let's try to read from the handbook that accompanies this card, and maybe we can gain more insights regarding shedding the old. There is a change coming your way. Cultivate a sense of adventure so you will be able to see these new prospects. Be willing to come out of your shell or break an old routine. You may want to consider something related to healing or healing work at this time. You may see an opportunity to generate a new source of income or be lucky enough to receive a financial gift or inheritance. On a higher level, this may indicate abundance in all areas of your life and a feeling that you are indeed blessed and deserving of everything that comes your way. Your personal belief system has a huge effect on how you feel about your finances and your luck. Hiding away your gifts may affect your abundant flow. As your source is unlimited, so are your gifts. Send out positive energy into the universe so you may receive abundance in return. You may also find you feel more energetic and optimistic. Lobsters can only grow to a certain point in their shells before they go through a molting process and shed their exoskeleton. You may feel like taking an inventory of your life lessons now and what has brought you to this moment. Every event that has transpired has helped to shape who you are. Like the lobster, after a period of growth, there will come a time to let go of any old patterns or behavior that no longer fit you. Well, so try to see right now, maybe there are certain things you need to let go. You let them go with gratitude. Say thank you. Thank you for the lessons that I've learned. Thank you for the new me that is coming out. I embrace the change. Well, that's it for today. I hope you were able to gain some insights in our Timeless Oracle reading. Thank you for the likes and comments you've given to the channel. Thank you for subscribing. I hope to see you again in our next videos. Until that time, may God continue to bless your ways.